ticking ambition, the collar bomb delivery. On a quiet afternoon in August 2003, Erie, Pennsylvania was exactly what you'd expect from a small Rust Belt town. Old factories, half-empty diners, the kind of place where people still left their doors unlocked and where everyone knew the sound of the church bells at 6 p.m. But on August 28th, that calm broke. Because that was the day a pizza delivery driver named Brian Wells, in this dramatized version, we'll call him Sam Harrison, walked into a bank with a bomb locked around his neck. Sam was 28 years old. He lived in a one-bedroom apartment above a laundromat. He delivered pizzas for a living, not because he loved it, but because life had quietly cornered him there. He was the kind of guy people described as nice but aimless. Neighbor interview reenactment. He was quiet, always polite, kept to himself mostly. Sometimes I'd see him feeding stray cats behind the dumpster. In the weeks before the incident, Sam had been falling behind on rent, credit card debt, payday loans. The kind of small-town struggles that never make the news until something explodes. And then, one Thursday, the phone rang at Mamma Mia's Pizzeria. A large order. 2 pizzas. Cash payment. Delivery address. The old TV transmission tower on Peach Street, a location that hadn't been used in years. Scene, 1:23 p.m. Sam parks near the tower. Gravel crunches under his sneakers. The afternoon sun hits the steel frame, turning it into a silver monolith. He holds the pizzas in one hand and looks around. Sam, voice trembling. Hello? Pizza delivery for, Mr. Rothstein. No answer. Then 2 silhouettes appear from the tree line. One tall, one shorter. Faces hidden by tinted visors. They don't take the pizzas. They tell him to put them down. Then the metal click. Collar. Cold. Heavy. Locked tight around his neck. Attached to it, a crude box with blinking red lights. They give him a note. Detailed instructions. He's told to rob a bank, PNC Bank on Summit Town Center. He's told the bomb will detonate if he doesn't follow every step exactly. And that, if he completes their scavenger hunt list, he'll find the key that unlocks the device. Sam's breathing grows rapid. He's sweating through his uniform shirt. But he does what most people would do when terror replaces logic. He obeys. Scene, 2:23 p.m. Surveillance footage later shows Sam walking into the PNC Bank with a lollipop in his mouth, carrying a homemade shotgun disguised as a cane. He hands a note to the teller. Gather $250,000. You have 15 minutes. The bomb is live. The teller gives him just under $9,000. That's all they had in the drawer. Sam leaves calmly, like a man doing his job. He drives off. Police are already responding. Minutes later, he's pulled over near Peach Street. Police order him to lie down. He tells them, "It's not fake. It's real. Please, get it off me." They wait for the bomb squad. But Erie isn't built for moments like this. The nearest bomb technicians are 30 minutes away. By the time they arrive, the collar has already started beeping faster. Sam, desperate. Please, someone call my boss. I didn't do anything. Beep, beep, beep. Explosion. Silence. When the smoke cleared, what was left wasn't a monster. It was a man who delivered pizzas. A man who played the lottery every week. Who fed stray cats. Who probably thought he still had time to make something of himself. But the question that haunted investigators wasn't how he died. It was why. By nightfall, the scene on Peach Street looked like something out of a movie. Flashing lights, yellow tape, and the smell of gasoline and metal hanging heavy in the air. Erie had never seen anything like it. Within hours, the FBI, ATF, and state police converged on the small Pennsylvania town. The local news called it the pizza bomber case. But to the agents who arrived that night, it wasn't a headline. It was a puzzle, one that didn't make any sense. Scene, FBI field office, 10:42 p.m. Agent Ross Heller, 42, career investigator, veteran of the Unabomber Task Force, leans over crime scene photos. The collar, the note, the map. Ross to his partner. This isn't just a robbery. It's theater. Someone wanted us to watch this play out. Partner, Agent Rivera. A scavenger hunt, Ross. With hand-drawn maps, time limits, and riddles. It's like they wanted him to fail, Ross. Or they wanted to prove how smart they were. The note found in Sam's car was 9 pages long. Single-spaced, typed in courier font, addressed to bomb hostage. It listed multiple stops around Erie. Payphones, signs, locked boxes, each supposedly containing another clue to disarm the device. But when agents followed the trail later that night, every clue led to nothing. No key, no escape, just dead ends. Whoever designed it knew it was impossible. 3 days later, a call came in to the tip line. A man named William Rothstein had something to say. He lived just a few miles from the TV tower, and he claimed there was a body in his freezer. Scene, Rothstein's house, 4:15 p.m. Agents step inside a cluttered 2-story home. Old televisions, wires, rusted tools. The smell of formaldehyde. Inside the chest freezer, wrapped in plastic, the body of an ex-boyfriend of a woman named Margaret Dawson. Agent Rivera, you're telling me she asked you to hide the body, and you just did it? Rothstein calmly. I was helping a friend in trouble. Agent Ross, the same friend connected to our bomb victim? Rothstein shrugs. Maybe. She's not well, Agent. You'll see what I mean. Margaret Dawson, 54 years old. Former teacher. Brilliant IQ. Diagnosed with bipolar disorder. She once studied psychology and music at Edinburgh University. Now she spent her days writing letters to TV hosts about government conspiracies. And according to Rothstein, she was the mastermind. Scene, County Jail, Interview Room 3. Margaret, chain-smoking, manic tone. Do you know what it's like to be smarter than everyone in the room and still ignored? They called me crazy, so I built something they couldn't ignore. Agent Ross, you built a bomb. Margaret smiles. No, Agent Heller. I built a lesson. A game for the greedy, the weak, and the obedient. That boy, Sam, he was just the delivery boy of fate. Ross, so you admit you knew him? Margaret, knew of him. He wanted money. I wanted to make a point. We both got what we wanted. For a moment. She laughs, then leans closer. Tell me, Agent, did he solve the riddles? Ross doesn't answer. She already knows he didn't. Margaret Dawson wasn't working alone. Evidence linked her to at least 3 others, including Rothstein and a man named Ken Barnes, a retired handyman with a gambling problem. Barnes told agents that Margaret planned the robbery to pay for a hitman, to kill her own father and secure her inheritance. Sam was just the pawn. Scene, FBI evidence room. On the board, photos of the tower, the bomb device, the scavenger maps. A tangled web of faces and red strings connects them. Agent Rivera, tired. So, to get her inheritance, she kills her father. But first, she needs money to pay someone to do it. So she plans a fake robbery. That kills the guy she used. And then kills the guy who helped her hide the first body. Is that about right? Ross, that's not a plan. That's chaos wrapped in intellect. He sighs. We're not hunting criminals. Rivera, we're hunting fragile geniuses. By winter, the case had ballooned into one of the most complex criminal investigations in Pennsylvania history. Every interview uncovered a new lie. Every lie led to another dead end. And through it all, one image haunted the agents. Sam Harrison sitting on the pavement, waiting for help that would never come. Scene, local news montage voiceover. Reporter 1. Investigators now believe the pizza delivery driver may have been involved in the plot himself. Reporter 2. Sources claim Wells, the victim, was aware of the robbery plan. Reporter 3. The town of Erie remains divided. Was he a hostage or an accomplice? And that was the cruelest part. Even in death, he wasn't granted innocence. His family begged for clarity. His co-workers stayed silent. And those who built the game, they kept rewriting the rules from inside their prison cells. Scene, FBI office, 6 months later. Ross sits alone at his desk, staring at the photos one last time. Rivera off-screen. Boss, you ever think we'll know the truth? Ross, truth. He looks up, tired eyes. I think truth exploded the same day he did. For most of America, the story ended there. But in Erie, whispers still lingered. About another accomplice, another motive, and maybe another bomb that was never found. It's been 2 years since the explosion on Peach Street. The asphalt is repaved now. The grass has grown back. And if you drive past it at dusk, you'd never know a man died there, waiting for someone to save him. But in the archives of the FBI's Erie field office, the case still hums like an old fluorescent light that refuses to die. Scene: Federal Detention Center, 2005. Margaret Dawson sits in an orange jumpsuit, thin and gray-haired now. A guard escorts Agent Ross Heller into the visiting booth. She smirks the moment she sees him. Margaret, softly. "You still chasing ghosts, Agent?" Ross, "Just wanted to see if you'd changed your story." Margaret, "I don't have a story. I have truth." Ross, "Truth killed people." Margaret, "Truth always does." She leans closer to the glass, voice trembling with a mix of pride and madness. "I built something that made the whole world stop and look. For once, Erie was on the map. For once, they listened." Ross, "You murdered a man." Margaret, whispering, "No, I tested him. I wanted to see if an ordinary man could survive the machine that ordinary people built. Money, obedience, fear. He couldn't." Ross stares at her, not with anger but pity. He realizes she doesn't see victims or consequences, only symbols. Margaret Dawson died in prison in 2017. No confession, no closure. Her notebooks filled with mathematical formulas, scavenger maps, and rants about morality and genius. The FBI eventually declared Sam Harrison an unwilling participant. The official term was duped hostage. But in Erie, people still argued, because that's what Americans do when the story doesn't fit. They choose a version that hurts less. Scene: Sam's apartment. Flashback. We see a messy kitchen table, past due bills, a lotto ticket, a half-eaten slice of pizza in a greasy box, a note on the fridge that reads, "Don't forget Mom's meds." Sam wasn't perfect. He gambled, lied sometimes, chased shortcuts, but he also cared about his mother, his cat, and the tiny world he thought he could keep safe. The tragedy wasn't that he was too dumb to see the trap. It's that he was too human to believe people could be this cruel. Scene: late-night diner, months later. Agent Ross sits in a booth alone, eating cold pie. A local journalist slides into the seat across from him. Lisa Merritt, who's been covering the case since day one. "Lisa, you think she really planned it all? The woman, the bomb, the notes." Ross, "She planned the outline, but life filled in the blanks." Lisa, "Meaning?" Ross, "Meaning? It's never just one monster. It's a room full of them, each holding a pen, each writing their own part." She sips her coffee, then asks the question no one stopped asking. "Why him?" Ross pauses. The jukebox hums softly. Rain taps against the window. Ross, finally. "Because he answered the phone." Silence. Some stories don't end. They just slow down. The files get boxed, the headlines fade, and people go back to their lives, pretending the world makes sense again. But somewhere, beneath the noise of routine, the ticking remains. Tick, tick, tick. Scene: fade to the present day. A young delivery driver pulls into a dark street on the outskirts of Erie. His phone buzzes. Cash order. Unlisted address. He hesitates, then grabs the box and walks toward the shadows. The sound of cicadas, a faint hum of power lines, and far off the faint metallic echo of something that might be a timer. Tick, tick, tick. We love to think monsters are born different, that they crawl out of darkness, already ruined. But sometimes monsters are built one compromise at a time. A lie here, a favor there, a small cruelty dressed as logic. Until one day, someone like Sam Harrison walks into a trap built by all of us and calls it fate. The bomb wasn't the tragedy. It was the mirror, and we've been staring at it ever since.